I've been looking through recent sales and a few stood out to me, so let's talk about them. The first book is a book that I bought just last month in May, and it sold within probably a couple of weeks of hitting the warehouse. Now, this was not a low-ranked book. This was actually ranked 1.5 million when I listed it. And now that I just checked it again, it's back up to 1.5 million. And it only sold 8 copies in the last 12 months. So this is not a big in-demand book, but the prices are pretty good. Well, the MF prices start pretty low, but all of the FBA prices are high. So Amazon is on the listing for $33, and then there's 2 other FBA offers. One for $29.99 in good condition, and the other one for $25.33 in very good condition. Now, based upon the sales history and the merchant fulfilled prices, I felt that those prices were a bit high to get a sale anytime soon. So I decided to price it at $19.95, and it sold within a few weeks of hitting the warehouse. Now, I know when I first started, I heard a lot of people talking about sort of the best way to go about pricing is you always match other FBA prices, especially the lowest price, assuming that it's not $4. I'm saying within a range where you can make money, make profit. And I followed that basically all the time when I first started. But over time, what I've found out is there's other things that come into play, like how much money you spent on it. I only spent $1 on this book, so I ended up making $13 off of it after Amazon fees and the dollar sourcing. So it was great profit margin. So I wasn't invested a lot in the book, but based upon the sales rank and the sales rank history, I knew that this could take some time to sell and that the FBA prices were a little bit high. So I wanted to sell sooner than later. If a Prime member came along, I wanted to be the next sale. So I could have matched the $25.33, but I'm in good condition and he's very good. So I could have underpriced it by like $1, $1.50. But I wanted to be more appealing and yet still make a good profit. So this wasn't a race to the bottom. I didn't drop the price down to $7 or $8 or even $11. It was still a good solid price, and there were other MF offers that were much lower, under $1. I think there was at least 1 or 2 of them. This wasn't a race to the bottom type of issue, but in certain circumstances, when I know that there's not that many sales of the book, it's steady, but there's not even 1 a month. This is 8 a year, and there was a gap of a couple months there without any sales, then I would rather sell it sooner. If you want to just keep to the rule of always matching the FBA price, now, don't get me wrong, I do that a lot on a lot of offers, but those are ones that are going to sell usually quicker. They're going to potentially take 6 to 12 months to sell, which this one could have if I would have matched that other offer or gone just a little bit under it. Now, maybe I could have gone under it. Maybe I could have done $23.95 and still got the sale, maybe. But I wanted to make sure that I was going to get the next Prime member sale, maybe even the next sale period, by underpricing it by enough to appeal to the next buyer. So I know some people get upset about that. They say, oh, you should always match other FBA offers, but sometimes it just doesn't make any sense for me. It doesn't make sense to sit on it for potentially months and months longer just to make another $4 or whatever it is. Now I'm going to get $14 from Amazon, and I can go buy 14 books. I could go buy 20 books, depending upon how much they cost, and send those in instead of waiting around to get a couple more bucks. So again, to each their own, and everybody has their own thought process on this. This has evolved for me based upon my experience and not wanting to wait so long on certain sales. The second sale was a CD. Do you remember the 90s group PM Dawn? They were really popular in the 90s, and they still have quite a following, especially as people start to find out about them, the much younger crowd. So for people like myself, they know about them and they might want to go back and buy a CD or a record from the group, and there's just not that many out there. This particular record is the best of PM Dawn, and as of right now, there's only 5 offers. However, over the past 12 months, there have been more than 30 sales. So this is a steady, consistent seller. I found this in October of last year, so it's been about 9 months since I listed it, sent it in, and it sold. So it was sold it for $34.95. So it's one of my biggest CD sales. And I've sold a few others for more, but it's definitely one of the biggest by far. Like I said, there's only 5 offers right now. The lowest being acceptable offer for $49.99. Then it jumps all the way up to $100, which is the only prime offer currently on this listing. So based upon the sales, it should keep selling, but people are going to have to pay a lot of money for it. I believe when I listed it, there were quite a few other FBA offers. I don't remember how many or how many offers overall, but I don't think it was a lot, but there were more than there are now, I'm pretty sure. I kept to my price based upon the fact that this was a steady seller and there's going to be an ongoing demand for it. Demand might even go up as time goes on, as well as there not being that many copies available. So the steady demand and the limited supply makes for an ideal situation for sellers. So I bought the CD for $1, and after Amazon fees got 26 bucks. So it sat for about 9 months. So made about right around 25 bucks or so, maybe just a little bit less. It was worth it being a long tail sitting around for a little bit, because I knew that it would sell eventually for that high price. Maybe I could have even tried to sell it for more, especially now based upon the prices. If I were to find it right now, I'd probably price it at maybe $69.95, maybe even 50 bucks to sell it quicker. My copy was very good, so I knew that it would sell at some point, and thankfully it did. So be on the lookout for some of those CDs, especially the older ones. Some of the ones from the 80s and 90s can be really valuable, especially in certain genres. So the more you go out there and scan the CDs, the more you realize what's good. And if you see any PM Dons, especially the best of PM Don, then definitely you want to source that. The third item, which is a book, is titled Pocket Companion to Textbook of Veterinary Internal Medicine. So this little one I actually bought in February of last year, right? February of 2015. It took about 17 months, so almost a year and a half for this to sell. And it sold for $34.95. I was paid $25 and change, and I only spent $1 on this. Now, it sat for a long time, so it did accrue some storage fees, but if you figure at most 2 cents a month, so that's about 36 cents. At most 40 cents, probably less, plus the dollar, so $1.40 or so, $1.35 to source and store it. Of course, I shipped it in, so maybe another 20 to 30 cents, so maybe $1.60 at most. So after all is said, I made about $24 and change, about 24 bucks. Not bad. So even though a book sits for a year and a half, you can still make an incredible profit off of it. This is a book that currently has 3 FBA sellers on it, and the price starts, there's one low price around $7, then it jumps up to 25. So this is a consistently higher priced item, and that's why I could sit on it and sell it for more. Now in the past 12 months, it only sold 8 copies, so one of them being mine. But when I first bought it, I don't remember, I wasn't using FBA Scan, and I don't remember if I looked it up on Camel or not, but regardless, it has only sold 8 in the last year, so I don't know where that was 18 months ago when I listed it. But if I were to buy it today, I would probably buy it. But again, my price, $34.95, is currently less than the lowest FBA price, which is $42. Now, I don't know if those other sellers were on the book or on the listing when I listed it, but they're there now, so my offer was less. And even though it took 18 months, and I don't know if other prime offers were on the listing and sold before mine in the intervening months when I listed it and it finally sold. But currently I did have a lower offer. So I'm not sure if my offer was too high for too long, or if a prime buyer just did not come along until they came along and bought mine. But regardless, there's different factors that went into this book. The higher price, the fact that I didn't spend that much money on it. And I do have, I have long tails like this. So even though it was a long tail, I still priced it a little bit lower, and it still took a long time. So, you never know exactly what's going to happen. You just kind of have to have a mixture of these types of books. I've just been going over my sales. My sales have been doing pretty well here at the end of June, and last couple of days been getting close to 10 sales a day. And I'll see in a couple of days what I did for the month of June and let you guys know in a video. Today I dropped off my latest shipment it had been a week since I had shipped books, and I'm intending to ship more, or to ship this shipment sooner, but things just happened and wasn't able to finish it off. I was sitting at 40 books for about last 4 or 5 days, and then finally yesterday I was able to add another 9 books. But interestingly, I added the 9 books, and then when I went to weigh the box, it was over 50 pounds. It was just a hair under 51 pounds. So I had to take out a book, and I actually took out a big textbook that weighed like 5-6 pounds. So that brought it down to about 46 pounds. I didn't know, but on the final page there where you are inputting about the box dimensions and the weight, there's a little button you can push, and it opens up all of the contents, the inventory that you're sending in, and then you can actually check one to delete it. You can delete one off there, or however many, and it automatically deletes it, and then you can continue with the shipment. So that's a handy dandy little thing to have, just in case something like that happens, or if for whatever reason you want to take an item out, which is pretty cool there at the last step before you actually move on to approving the shipment. So I was excited to send that out. Hopefully those will go live tomorrow. I remember a couple of videos ago I was telling you that I had over 2,800 items in stock, and now I'm down to about 27, close to 2770 or so. So it's funny, the business is funny how you send in more, you build up your inventory, but you sell more as well. You kind of have to keep replenishing to keep your numbers up. And I'm finding this is a lot of fun though, to see the sales come in and then just have to get out more books as soon as you can. But I see that there's going to be at some point here, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the sales. As in, I'm probably going to do 200 sales this month. Probably. I'm trying to send in more than 200 so that I can get more sales. But if my sales are outpacing what I'm sending in, then I'm going to basically probably just sell that amount in normal months now. When August and September hits, and then the holidays, and then January again, of course, those will be much bigger months, and I'll sell a lot more of my inventory, which means I'll have to send in a lot more to bring it back up. But anyway, these are thoughts swirling in my head as I'm as back to school comes closer and closer. If you had a good Wednesday, you've been out doing some FBA business, and as always, remember, keep booking.